Thank you and welcome to my channel, Simply Your World, where we discuss past and present events that will affect you if they haven't already. And today I want to discuss a very, very important topic. If you've ever asked yourself why so many commercials depicts the most beautiful black woman with every type of Caucasian man, or why suddenly so many wars in non-white countries, why abortion was banned, why migrants have a free pass to every white country, why drill music is allowed, also the social media dogfight between the black man and the black woman. If you ever asked yourself or wondered about these things, then this show is for you. Everything I just named is encompassed by one factor: the dwindling birth rate of the Caucasian race. First thing I want to do, I want to play a video for you, and over here to the right we're going to get into a detailed article by the Census Bureau. I highlighted all the important parts. If you decide you want to read the article yourself, then it's right there for you. But let's play this video and then we're going to get into the article.
It's pretty impossible to buy a home. New insights into how the state of this country may be influencing a record number of Americans against having children. Pew Research polled people between the ages of 18 and 49. When asked if they will ever have kids, 44% said it is either unlikely or not too likely. Here's the thing: when Pew asked that question in 2019, only 37% felt that way. For the past 6 years, the CDC reports birth rates across the country have been dropping, and last year, a historic record low per capita, a 4% decline in births. Pew asked people who said they don't want to have kids why, and a majority said they just don't want to, which, I appreciate that no is a full sentence, but also, like a nosy parent, I want to beg the question, no, really, why? Perhaps it is due to the world they would be bringing a child into. The long-term outlook of our climate, not great. Even Morgan Stanley is worried about it, telling investors, quote, "The movement to not have children owing to fears over climate change is growing and impacting fertility rates quicker than any preceding trend in the field of fertility decline." It's also the reality that Congress still can't bring us into the modern age when it comes to parenting and caregiving. This pandemic revealed it. Parents, mostly moms, tossed from the workforce, either let go or forced out to take care of children or sick family. Some parents forced to become teachers. The producer who helped write this script did so as he watched his 2-year-old at home because his daycare closed for COVID protocols. If a deadly pandemic is not scary enough, think about how we now have a second generation of kids attending active shooter drills at schools. Yet Congress has yet to address gun violence through legislation. And then there's the whole just affording a kid thing. Millennials hold just 5% of the nation's wealth, unlike the boomers before them, who held about 21% of the nation's wealth at the same age. It's pretty impossible to buy a home to raise kids if you don't have the cash or collateral to make it happen. Millennials also facing mountains of student debt at such high rates that monthly minimums barely pay off the monthly interests. And while student debt forgiveness was in the Biden agenda, Democrats had to cut it from the spending bill to lower the price tag so it would pass. So millennials putting off kids until college is paid off, well, they keep waiting. As of now, paid family leave could still happen, but already it's been cut down to just 4 weeks, might be axed from the final spending bill entirely. That is right. We gave the world a walk on the moon and the iPhone, but we can't give folks a few weeks off with their kid. Long and short of all of this, younger Americans are opting out of kids because the reality of the current moment seems untenable and because the future is more uncertain than ever. And that should alarm us all.
Okay. Wow. Now check this out. I'm going to make a statement, then I'm going to read this article, and you tell me what you think about it. The statement might be a little outlandish at first, but like I said, this information, I didn't write it. I'm only just reporting on it, all right? The migrants that you see coming over here are here to replace the big swath of the white population. They will be classified as white right along with the Asians pretty much, and they will be given a lot of different amenities, laws, provisions, policies that's going to allow them to be above you, black man and black woman. All right, now check this out. In 2016, more non-Hispanic whites died than were born in the 26 states, more than any time in the U.S. history. Some 179 million residents, or roughly 56% of the U.S. population, live in these 26 states. In contrast, non-Hispanic whites, hereafter referred to as white, keep that part in mind, deaths exceeded births in just 4 states in 2004. And 17 as recently as 2014. White deaths also exceeded white births in the nation as a whole for the first time in U.S. history in 2016. We've got a chart on the next page, and we definitely going to get into that part too. According to data from the National Center for the Health Statistics, when births fail to keep pace with deaths, a region is said to have a natural decrease in population. Keep the word natural decrease in your mind, which can only be offset by migration gains. I'm going to read that last part again in green. When births fail to keep pace with deaths, a region is said to have a natural decrease in population, which can only be offset by migration gains. The people that are here, that are coming over the border, you wonder why it just seems like they just coming over freely and putting them right in your neighborhood? Is because they're there to learn your terrain. They're there to learn everything about you, your ways, right? And they're going to become you, and then they're going to overtake you, black man and black woman. But let's keep reading. In 17 of the 26 states with white natural decrease, the white population diminished overall between 2015 and 2016. Our analysis of the demographic factors that causes white natural decrease suggests that more states are likely to experience this in the future. All right? Natural decrease means more deaths than births. So from 2014 to 2016 all the way up to today, the white race has had a natural decrease or more deaths than births. All right? For example, the substantial surplus of Latino births over deaths together with past migration have contributed enormously, to the growing diversity of the United States. But our demographic processes are also at work. Other demographic processes are also at work. These include the rising incidence of white natural decrease due to aging and below replacement fertility among the 61% of the population who are white. As we shall see, the accelerating diversity of the U.S. population is a function of white natural decrease as well as the growth of the minority population. This is why you see so many wars in these non-white countries. This is why you see also, on the other hand, select countries they're allowing to flow over here because those people are here to replace the people that are dying from opioids, from lifestyle changes, meaning they just don't want to have, delayed parenthood, or they want to have their life together, right? They don't want to have a baby until they get everything straight. Then you got the mortality rate, where people just, like they said earlier, just too old to have babies. Then you have the gender roles. Man can be whatever he wants to be. Woman can be whatever she wants to be. So that's naturally going to decrease children. Right? And every other factor you can name, the abortion also as well, is another thing that is decreasing the Caucasian population. So a lot of people that they have coming over here, like I said, the select groups that they have coming over here are the ones that they're going to replace you. Then at the same time, you have the like I said, the dog fight of the black man and black woman. That's natural decrease in our population. Then you got all the people of color all across the world seemingly that are having issues, that are dying from different issues, from drugs and wars. Especially today, the most prevalent thing right now is the wars. You know what I mean? The same thing we're talking about now, which we're going to get into this next chart, is why you see all of the black women being depicted with every type of white man. Because they want to naturally decrease us as well. But check this part out too. African Americans had natural decline in only one state, West Virginia. That was a negative 131 people. in 2016 as did the Asians and the Pacific Islanders, the Hawaiians. In Hawaii, there's negative 906 people, with Latino births exceeding deaths in every state. But like the black man, we see a lot going on with the black man in the world. But like the Bible said, the more they afflicted them, the more they grew. There's nothing that they can really do outside of blow this whole world up to get rid of us, and they wouldn't even do it then. But all right, check this out. As white births diminish, white deaths increase. Between 1999 and 2016, the number of white births fell by 10.8% to 2,094,000, and the number of white deaths rose by 9.2%. That's 2,133,000. Both these demographic changes contribute to the warning levels of natural decrease and the onset of the white natural decrease. I'm going to show you in the article. The pace of decline in the white births intensified in 2007 to 2016. Keep that date in mind. Due in part to the Great Recessions, significant impact on the U.S. fertility, the recessions, the great shock, to the American economy system is nearly 2 generations influenced by both fertility and life cycle decisions by many families, like I just spoke on. All right, check this out. Before I read this next part, I was talking to a colleague of mine, and they pointed out that as you see the deaths, right, the deaths and the births, you're definitely going to have a natural increase and decrease. Everyone's going to have a natural increase and decrease depending on different factors in life. But then the overall decrease of the entire Caucasian population is the problem here. All right, but if you notice right here in 2008, right when Obama got in office, right when he said everybody can be what they want to be, look how swiftly the birth dropped, and look how fast simultaneously, like a year after, the deaths rose. That can be from all them gender, puberty blockers. You want to change back but can't. Bullying, all these things, all these suicide. At the same time, the births dropped, the deaths rose at the same time. Right? I mean, this cannot be a coincidence, y'all. This is why we're seeing so much across the world. But anyway, let's get into it. If I haven't proven that to you yet, you should get it in these next few slides. With significantly fewer white births and a rising number of deaths, natural increase means births minus deaths actually ended in 2016. In that year, for the first time in U.S. history, data from the National Center of Health Statistics showed more white deaths than births in the United States. This is the first time in history. The white natural loss of 39,000 in 2016 compares to the natural gain of 393,000 in 999. So from 1999 to 2016, both the growing numbers of deaths up 180,000 between 99 and 2016, and the declining number of births down 252,000 between 99 and 2016. So they rose for a minute, then dropped swiftly, contributing to the dwindling white natural increase and more recently, the natural decrease. In 2016, whites accounted for 77.7% of all deaths, but just 53% of the births. Do y'all see where the problem is? Do y'all see why there's so much BS going on in the world right now? This is why you see so much death. So much destruction only in these certain places, because you're going to see later on in this article, they're going to tell you that it's very difficult after a race's numbers drop to a certain point. It takes generations to build that back up. So what's the next alternative? Kill everybody, or kill as many people as you can strategically. I don't think I'm tripping. But anyway, check this out. A finding from previous research on natural decrease, which is consistent with other findings, is once an area begins to experience natural decrease, the trend is likely to continue. Like I just said, once they start decreasing, the trend's going to continue. It's very likely. Now check this out. Only California, New Mexico, West Virginia have experienced natural increase after the initial onset of decrease. In each case is only for 1 year, and I got those highlighted. West Virginia in 2006, between 2006 and 2007, they had an increase, and you see where it dropped off. California 2004, New Mexico 2004, you see where it dropped off. You see what I'm saying? This is why we see so much destruction across the world. Excuse me. Check this out. More states are likely to be added to those experiencing white natural decrease in the near future. In 2016, white births exceeded deaths by just 1,000. That's 0.9%, or 0.09%. In New York, and by less than that, by 0.12% in Illinois. There is considerable spatial variation in the level of white natural increase or decrease among the 50 states. Figure 4 divides the 50 states and the District of Columbia into 4 categories based on their history of natural white decrease or increase. And we're going to get into that chart down here. Okay, here's the chart. We're going to get into the whole chart to show you how over the United States there's been an overall natural decrease since 2010, 2008, 2010. But we talk about 2099 all the way to 2016. But up to this day, there's been a natural decrease. There is considerable spatial variation in the levels of white natural increase or decrease among the states. Figure 4 divides the 50 states and the District of Columbia into 4 categories based on their history of white natural decrease or increase. The early natural decrease group includes 11 states that began to experience white natural decrease in 2010. The 15 recent natural decrease states first experienced natural decrease between 2011 and 2016. The low natural increase groups includes the 12 states where births modestly exceeded birth deaths, BDR between 1.00 and 1.15. And the 13 high natural increase states had a greater increase of births over deaths. Now check this out. All that comes from this chart here. If you see in 2010, you have the natural decrease. And then the more recent natural decrease between 2011 and 2016, you have all these states. You see how it's growing? And then the low natural increase, then you have the more deaths than births. You have the low, where is it at? Right in these states right here. Then you have the high natural increase, which are these darker green states. You know what I mean? So check this out. First, the percentage of white population that is 65 and older in 2016 reflects the age structure of the states. Generally, an older population increases the likelihood of natural decrease due to high mortality. Like I said, high mortality is when you're just too old to have children. Then you have the second percentage of white women who are in their early childbearing years, 15 through 44, in 2016 signifies the relative share of women who are capable of giving birth. You can pause this chart and definitely analyze the chart. Then third, you have the white total fertility rate in 2016 represents the average number of births per woman each state. And then fourth, you have the percentage of white females less than 15 years of age that represents the future cohorts who will enter the childbearing years in the near future. And if you look, you will see how the mortality rate grows in each case. This one represents this one represents this one. And this one goes from low to moderate to high. Low to moderate to high, all the way across the board. They're in a bad way, y'all. And this is the reason why we see so much BS. I can't say it enough. As expected, the likelihood of white natural decrease is greatest in the states with a large concentration of older whites. So where all the money is, like the video said, the people who had most of the money, the older people. Now that money is not being enjoyed as much by the younger generation of whites. You know what I mean? So that's definitely a factor. Approximately 91% of the early natural decrease states had relatively few white women of childbearing age. So a lot of older people. So the opioids is knocking off a lot of younger white women. The abortion, then them just not having kids at a certain pace. So they just don't have 15-year-olds. They have them, but they don't. It's a big block of kids, that is not there. A big age group of people that is just not there, ready to have children. This is why you see so much death and destruction. Because, like earlier in the article, it's very likely for this trend to continue. The only way they're going to equal these numbers out is by destroying people. This is why you've been hearing about climate control, carbon footprints, too many people. Now you see it happening. You see them actually exterminating people through food and other means just to get the numbers back down to manageable terms. White natural decrease is also common in states that have low white fertility rates. Nearly 55% of the early natural decrease states are in the lowest fertility category, compared to just 15% of the states with high levels of natural increase. This is the figure 5C. Like I said, when you want to read that chart, definitely go to the chart. You'll be able to check it out.